2019 season at Prescott Hill Climb marked the 90th anniversary of the Bugatti Owners Club. Included a host of celebrations and classic car displays throughout the year to mark this special milestone in the club's history. The club was founded in 1929, held lots of hill climb events in the 30s on a variety of dusty surfaces across the south of England, but of course encountered growing opposition by local residents and needed to find a more permanent and suitable venue. In 1937, the estate here at Prescott came on the market, and actually it was the Vintage Sports Car Club who found it. They couldn't afford it and passed it on to the Bugatti Owners Club, who bought it and held the first event in the following spring in 1938 using the original short course, which is still used by the Vintage Sports Car Club today. Before the competition events had even begun at Prescott, a unique and special car returned for the first time in 80 years to kick-start the 90th celebrations. It was the Works Bugatti 5950B Grand Prix car, built by the factory and brought here to take part in the very first international meeting at Prescott in the summer of 1939, with Jean-Pierre Vimille at the wheel. The car was the most powerful Bugatti of its generation. Its 8-cylinder supercharged 4.7-litre engine and twin rear wheels, specially fitted for the event, made it fairly unsuited to the narrow, twisty nature of the course at Prescott. They even claimed that it was too big to use the return road. Despite this, Vimille drove superbly, only narrowly missing out on victory. He was beaten by the ERA of Raymond Mays. Jean Bugatti apologised and vowed to return the following year with a more suitable car, but with the outbreak of World War II, this wasn't to be. This car would have one further outing after World War II, taking victory with Vimille in Paris in the 1945 Coupe des Prisonnières. It remains in original unrestored condition and would spend the summer months in 2019 on show at the Bugatti Trust. The opening event of the season saw Prescott hosting 2 rounds of the British Hill Climb Championship. Unusually, these weren't the opening rounds for the series for 2019, Lowton Park having staged these just a week earlier. Trevor Wellis, who won the championship in 2018, was immediately on the pace in qualifying, but the former Hill record holders weekend would end abruptly on the first runoff after clouting the barriers at the exit of Pardon. The big story of the event, and indeed throughout the 2019 British Championship, was the increased threat to the dominance of the big V8 engine single-seaters by the little tiny, mostly motorcycle-engined cars getting faster and faster and challenging for overall honours. Former champion Scott Moran took victory in the opening runoff, winning round 3, but increasingly threatened by the little bike-engine GWR Raptor of Richard Spedding, showing the degree to which the older Goulds came under threat.
Very technical hill for us. It is particularly hard work in the Gould. It does, takes up a lot more track than some of the smaller stuff. It's just difficult to get it going because they really sort of need the aero to work properly. The short straights don't really give you the opportunity to get the speed up, but it still works, but you can't really stretch the legs properly. So we are really under threat from the smaller cars. So it's and it's a testament to the engineering and the smaller stuff. It's really it's brilliant.
How do you have to modulate your style for somewhere like Prescott?
Well, my opinion would be that Prescott's all about patience. If you've got long corners, long slow corners and some long fast corners, and if you try and fuss the car, if you pick up the throttle too early, then you lose time, you wash out, you're upsetting the car, you're upsetting the balance. Shelsley is a lot more of a bravery hill. You have to be patient to an extent, but the bravery and the power and the downforce makes a big difference. Whereas I think here, you can see with Rob in the 1100, right up behind me, thanks, and the driver really, the discipline, the car, the dampers, it works the car mechanically really hard. It's nowhere to hide if your car understeers or oversteers.
Here's working good. There's certainly more time in the car. The frustrations, the driver's not performing to the car's ability. So that, hopefully this afternoon, you know, we can find that 10th, and Scotty and Richard are driving really, really well, and Dave, Alex, Robert and the 1000cc's there to embarrass all of us this afternoon, no bother at all. They're all driving really, really well, so it makes for great fun, hard work, but, you know, rewarding.
The April meeting would once again provide spectators with a fantastic mix of modern and classic machinery. In the afternoon, the traditional big-engine Goulds stayed top of the leaderboard, but it would be Wallace Mingy's in the freshly developed Gould GR59 who would take victory in round 4 over David Uren's GR55. Mingy's appeared to be in pole position to challenge for his maiden British title after a strong start to the season. Richard Spedding rounded off top 3 with another podium result to kickstart his championship bid after a non-score in the opening round at Lowton Park.
The headline event for our calendar is the French-themed La Vie en Bleu at the end of May, where we host a fabulous array of Bugattis to mark the official 90th celebrations for the Bugatti Owners Club, with many special festivities and entertainment both on and off the track itself. Spectators were treated to a vast range of cars spanning all eras of Bugatti's automotive history, from the little 1920s Brescia, the 35B, to the amazing Bugatti EB110 from the early 1990s. There really was something for all enthusiasts, not forgetting the very latest and most powerful production sports car in its history, the Bugatti Chiron.
The club had set itself the challenge of assembling 90 Bugattis, and to see all those Bugattis lined up from the very early days right through to the latest model made a wonderful tribute to the marque's founder, Ettore Bugatti. Even the wet weather during Sunday's lunch break failed to dampen spirits as even more Bugattis gathered this time around Ettore's Bend.
Once again, the event included the recent edition of La Vita Rossa, celebrating all things Italian.
The paddock was brimming with sensational examples for visitors to enjoy, such as the Lamborghini Countach, one of the most exuberant supercars ever built, right through to Duncan Pittaway's flame-popping beast of Turin, the Fiat S76. The combination of classic French and Italian cars, pre-war machinery, and the regular Prescott competitors provided great sights and sounds all around the hill all weekend. June saw a weekend of glorious weather at Prescott for a new event, Porsche at Prescott, celebrating the iconic Stuttgart car manufacturer. And we had examples of virtually every model of Porsche, right up and including the evocative Porsche 956 from the 1980s Group C era.
So Chris Crawford, you're the proud owner of 956-007, a very special car.
It is a very special car, very special bit of history. Back in '83, Rothmans were at the height of their sponsorship with Porsche, with Dunlop and all the other sponsors, but that particular car started the season at Monza, finished 7th. They had all sorts of problems with fuel at Monza in that year. And the next race was Silverstone in 1983. It was beautifully popped on pole and finished first overall, so that set down a marker for its career, which became very short-lived at the Nürburgring at the Nordschleife. Stefan Belloff in his prime and just disappeared off into the distance in qualifying. Managed to do the honours at 6 minutes 11 seconds or 11.13 I think it was, but absolutely sensational. And that stood for 35 years or so. Stefan in the race went round, and as everybody said in the pits, oh my God, there must have been a huge accident because no other cars, nothing. Gone into the distance. And then the rest came round. Next lap was just the same. He just went quicker and quicker and quicker. Obviously broke the lap record and then didn't come round. And he just surpassed his talent, I think. He rolled the car, or flipped it over, took the front left-hand corner badly, took the tail and the rear damage to mostly not major components, but severe damage to the chassis at the front. The front left-hand corner was badly damaged on the tub. They got back to the factory and realised the next race was too soon to repair it, pinched the engine I presume, and the rest of it laid in the corner of the workshops until somebody found something to do with it.
Perhaps you give us a little bit of background how you came by the car and the sort of teething problems of getting it back on track.
America became interested in the new 962, which is the updated version with a longer wheelbase and slightly safer car, much safer car. So Porsche North America said, can we have a sort of show car for demonstration purposes or whatever? Porsche Germany said, yeah, no. Oh yeah, excellent. Yeah, good way to sell a piece of rubbish out the corner of the workshops. And anyway, so they put a few bits together. And a brand new gearbox casing and all the bits on the outside and a dummy engine, and off it went to America. They didn't even take the seat out and clean the rubbish out from the Nordschleife. It got all the rubber, race rubber under there, and all the little stickers on the dash. And it hadn't done anything. It's a time warp. So Porsche North America painted it in Miller Lite colours. Of course it was painted in IMSA colours, so everybody thought it was an old 962 show car. And after it'd done all that, it went to a museum in North Carolina for years. Museum decided they didn't want this European stuff in their NASCAR Trans Am, proper American car museum. So they said to the curator, get rid of it. I think there was a local Porsche guy, bit of a backstreet garage type guy. He was asked if he wanted it. He said, he'd asked some friends. And of course it came full circle and he phoned me up because I know him very well. I said, Chris, there's a show car in America, are you interested? And I said, I doubt it. So he sent some pictures through. I said, why? Obviously it's just a show car really, and inside it looked fairly authentic, so that's a bit strange. Anyway, I said it was sort of £8,000 worth of bits of kit really, and left it at that. A few months go by, no, they really want to get rid of it. Okay, all right, well I'll do a bit more research. And they took some bodywork off and showed me the damage to the chassis and things, and straight away we knew exactly what it was. It's a 956, not a 962, because of the the front of the chassis is different, the holes are different and so on. And 007 was missing from the book, so to speak. That's exactly what it was, and that was the history of it.
The members' meeting in July focused on two handicap championships, the Hennies Cider Classic Championship and the 2019 New Barn B Licence Championship, both series organised by the Bugatti Owners Club. B Licence has become an important fixture of events at Prescott. It's aimed at participants who are beginning their competitive outings in hill climbing and sprints, focuses on being a fun, affordable way into the sport for newcomers, while providing even competition throughout with the use of timed handicaps, enabling cars across all classes to challenge for wins. 2019 proved to be another successful year for the series, with packed entries at venues across the UK, including hill climbs and sprints. Winner of the B Licence Championship was David Rose in his Lotus Elan, closely followed by Matthew Gregory with a Porsche 968 and Ben Wilamowski in a BMW E30. For the 2020 season, the championship will be renamed as the RS Interclub Licence Speed Championship.
The annual garden party in July followed the previous day's members' meeting and was met with fantastic summer weather. The garden party takes place each year and provides a very relaxed day for members, their families and guests to enjoy both the hill and the beautiful surroundings in our 40 acres. The 90th celebration continued with a great turnout of Bugattis on display, with non-competitive passenger runs available for only £5. It is a great way for people to experience the excitement of our hill, the climb, the gardens and the estate. We also included special runs for those under 16. The event opens the hill to new people and brings some unusual vehicles to the hill. Many of those who have never been here before, and in fact many members bring their cars to exercise them once a year. It also gave the club the opportunity to provide a finishing stop for the next generation rally. This is effectively to encourage younger members to explore and enjoy the classic and vintage motoring experiences.
The British Hill Climb Championship returned to Prescott in early September. Wallace Mingus had clinched his first title a round earlier at Kirsten Down to become only the second Scottish driver to win the series.
So Wallace, you've won the championship, you've been pursuing it for some time. How does it feel?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. Probably more of a relief than at this stage with the season going on so long. The time I got to Gerson last weekend, it was a relief. Obviously very, very pleased after quite a few journeys up and down the motorway and a bit of time and effort, and that's 10 years with a big car from starting out. It's kind of 10 years before that, so I suppose 20 years ago you never think, it's never even an option or a thought process, and then a big car just to try and compete and get run-offs, and then you move your own goals if you can get a little bit quicker, and then end up here delighted today. So no, very, very pleased, thank you.
Competition day brought seasonably dry and hot weather conditions, and with the event held in the latter stages of the season, there were still plenty of championship classes and positions up for grabs, producing some of the fastest action of the year at Prescott. All eyes were on the clock during the first runoff, round 29, after some very quick times in qualifying. But out of the blue, Sean Gould surprised everybody with a new course record of 35.41, a tenth quicker than the record that had stood for 5 years set by Joss Goodyear in his GWR Raptor. Newly crowned champion Wallace Mingies claimed second in the first runoff. Dave Uren was third, all three drivers setting times in the 35-second mark, showing the intense level of competition and the incredible pace at the top of the British Series.
New hill record, 35.41. How's it feel?
Fantastic. Yeah, obviously this is my first hill record. I wasn't specifically trying to break the hill record, I was obviously trying to win the runoff, so this is a bonus. And yesterday I thought, yeah, possibly we could do that if we got a nice run together, nice clean run with no moments or issues. And that's exactly what we got this afternoon. Committed run, but no mistakes. So yeah, new hill record, 11 points, and I'm very happy.
Yeah. So as a car, it's obviously an evolution from the sort of all-conquering GR55. How different is it to the older cars?
It's probably about 20% lighter and probably about 20% more powerful. So its power-to-weight ratio is much better. Aerodynamically, it's far superior due to the fact that it had a more professional approach. You've got to remember the GR55 was designed in 1999-2000. It's been a very successful car, but obviously things have moved on in a big way, really. We haven't made tons of cars because it's been a competitive car and won, I don't know, 19 championships or something, the GR55, something silly like that. But so yeah, it's a great little car, and you know, hopefully it will carry on to make a few more records.
So James, this weekend you're in the single seater in the Gould. You hold the hill climb record actually in the RA on the short course.
That's right.
But you're just out in the single seater. You've matched that time on the long course. How does that feel?
I know, it's crazy. So it's a similar time, but I tell you, the cars are a chasm apart. So the long course is a bit longer, yes, and it takes longer to do, but this driving this feels like a ballistic missile with a steering wheel. It's not really a car. It's just start again, start from scratch, recalibrate your head, just move into a different field. I don't know what other expressions to use for it, but it's different. Yeah, big time.
And you said to me yesterday that it's such a nice paddock, but there's such a lot of focus on performance. How are you finding that?
Well, interesting, yeah. So you stand here in this beautiful atmosphere, sunny day and racing cars all around you. Everybody here is really trying. They've all got slick tyres, they all want to win. A VSCC paddock is a bit more tinkly bop and everyone's here for who's got the best picnic. So it is a bit different. There's 4 or 5 trying hard, don't get me wrong. But here today, yeah, massive respect. So particularly this line of cars here, many of which qualify in the top runoff. There's a trickle of people coming to shake Sean hands because he broke the hill record. It's a gentlemanly sport and it's lovely. It brings a tear to your eye. It's very, very special.
In the final runoff of the day, that was round 30, 2 drivers again managed to get into the 35-second mark. This time it was Uren who was fastest, but still nearly half a second adrift of the new hill record set that morning by Sean Gould. Second taken by Alex Summers, who'd had a great season with consistent performances guiding him to runners-up spot in the championship, despite having a slightly underpowered car in his DJ Firehawk compared to his rivals. In the afternoon, Sean Gould couldn't quite match his morning's record run, but his time of 36.01 gave him third place in the afternoon runoff to round off a superb weekend and signalling him as one to watch for the 2020 title challenge. Final event for the Bugatti Owners Club 90th year was the Autumn Classic, which is always popular with its Anglo-American theme, bringing together the best in American classics and British muscle cars. It had poured with rain in the days up to the event, causing plenty of headaches for the organisers, despite which the weekend was a great success once again. As always, fun and games in the paddock and at Orchard, with a host of entertainment and activities to enjoy. Live bands, stilt walkers, Vegas showgirls, and then of course the awesome collection of American classic cars, which really do bring something different to Prescott each year, with their loud, audacious styling and the glorious sound of their big V8 engines. Most of them took to the hill during the lunchtime cavalcade. It was fantastic to see so many American cars entered on the hill, mixing with their British counterparts on a damp, greasy track. The Autumn Classic meeting in October was also the final round of the Hennies Cider Classic Championship, which had produced some of the most entertaining and closely fought competitions throughout 2019, visiting a variety of hill climb and sprint courses across the UK and featuring 4 rounds here at Prescott. Classic Championship has been a recent success story for the Bugatti Owners Club, with competitors aiming to better their own handicap target times, and this has allowed less experienced drivers to challenge for class wins and ensures all cars throughout the championship can be competitive no matter how powerful the engine. Proved a great way of keeping so much variety of classic cars on the hill today. The series is divided into 3 categories. Saloon class for pre-77 cars features vehicles such as Imps, Scimitars, and this Ford Escort Mark I, driven by Simon Braithwaite, a former historic rally car, and a stunning example of a car which was so successful in British and world rallying in the 70s. It would be replaced by the ever-popular and even more successful Mark II Escort, of which there are also examples competing in the Classic Championship today. The Minis of Matt Clark and Graham Hill would have a season-long battle in the saloon class, thrilling spectators with some incredible car control as they often place the Minis in all kinds of angles around the hill, demonstrating how effective the car's handling is on the twisty course here at Prescott. Championship sponsor Mike Henney would take 3rd place overall in the saloon class for 2019 in his Ford Lotus Cortina, with Yvette Stader 2nd in the very rare and pretty Alfa Romeo Berlina she shares with her husband Philip. Callum Barney would take the overall class win in the saloons with his Ford Cortina GT. The sports car class for pre-77 cars also features a great variety of manufacturers, from Lancias, Ginettas to Austin Healey's and even Porsche 911. Steve Fenner would claim 3rd overall in his MGB, and a few points ahead would be John Newton in 2nd place, driving the Austin Healey Mark I Sprite. Brian Ashley in the MGB would take overall honours, scoring heavily in the final 4 rounds to move clear at the top of the standings. The single-seater racing car class for pre-72 vehicles was also widely supported throughout the season. Carol Nichols in the Nike Mark IV Ford built by her father had a great season to claim 2nd, Andy Tippett in the glorious Brabham BT30X with its Buick engine would have a close battle with Les Buck, would take the overall class win. Les in the Pringett Mistral Formula Ford narrowly edged ahead to take the overall title.
So our great celebration year draws to a spectacular close. The club is in great shape to embark upon the next 90 years, and we look forward to our own centenary in 2029.